All right, guys, what's going on? Today we're going to be here talking about building client dashboards. And really, I want to start kind of just with a story. And, I told you guys that we're getting some trees taken down at our house last week. And we were kind of just discussing about the flow of working with that business. And this has been true with all of the service businesses, whether you're business to business or business to customer. I find that there's a lot of these disruptions and back and forths and communication errors and things that we can solve really, really both elegantly, right? So you get this great customer experience, but also it solves a lot of problems in your business. And so we're going to talk about our example with the tree removal company. And we're going to talk about how I would help this exact tree removal company build a client dashboard or a client facing dashboard that would solve a lot of problems for them, help communication, take time off of their plate and give it back to their employees, stop like headaches and just all this kind of stuff that happens within these service businesses that we're all used to dealing with. So we're going to talk about kind of what I've already built. I'm going to show you guys that if you're watching on YouTube. And then we're going to talk about how you guys might think about implementing this in your business, whatever your business might be. All right, so we think about this as kind of a deal. Let's say, I didn't sign a $30,000 contract, but let's say, you're working with a construction or a landscape company, or, you're signing some big deal, right? This is a big deal for you. This is a big deal for your family. This is a big deal for your company. And you go through the process of getting a proposal and talking with somebody, and you like the sales guy, and they kind of walk you through everything. They send you this proposal and you think about it, and then you sign off and you're like, yeah, all right, we're going to do it. And then you sign it. And then we go into this like black hole of silence. And it's like, sometimes it's, as ambiguous as, okay, we'll reach out when, we have a project date for you, or we'll reach out when we can start. We're probably somewhere between 2 to 6 weeks out. You maybe get one confirmation, okay, like you're on the schedule, but then you don't get any updates. So then the client starts kind of going back, and if this is me, you maybe check in like, hey, are we still good? Hey, what are we looking at? We're going on vacation here in a few weeks. I haven't heard anything. What did we agree to again? What flowers were we going to do? What was our project cost? What colors did I tell you I wanted on the wall? Whatever specific business you're working with, you've probably sent some kind of a text message or felt that kind of black hole of communication. And this is what we want to start thinking about from a customer service and customer experience perspective. If we think about the customer first, if you're the customer, what do you want? And so I started playing this out with all the companies that I've worked with, because thankfully for all of the companies that I've worked with, I've had a direct interaction in some capacity with either that exact type of business or, or that actual business, right? So I've been a customer of major commercial construction companies. I've been a landscaping customer. I've been a tree removal customer. I've been a gym customer. So, these companies that I work with, like I've had that experience, and I can sit there and tell you what it felt like as the customer to be in this black hole of silence. And then they can tell you what it's like as the business owner or the employee side of having to deal with this constant barrage of change order requests. Like, hey, I decided I didn't like that color, so we're going to change it. And they've already signed the proposal and they've already signed the contract. And so now you've got to go back and you've got to change it. You've got to stop what you're doing to call the customer, to waste 15 minutes. And then we talk a lot about these change costs, these transactional costs that all of our employees go through every day when they have to interrupt what they are supposed to be working on. That's going to help move your business forward or get you new business. And they have to stop and talk with the client for 15 minutes to update them on the schedule and where we're at. And, hey, we're waiting on confirmation from the city. We're waiting for, confirmation. The storms changed everything. So now we're pushed back 4 to 6 weeks. Sorry, we didn't update you. And you're just constantly having to hire people to deal with all of this. Okay. So if this is resonating with you, if you feel this, whether you're as a customer or as an employee or a boss, this is what we're going to kind of work on this. All right. So what we think about is building this dashboard. All right. So if you guys are on YouTube, or if you guys want to listen to this on YouTube, I've pulled up a dashboard that I created for a customer here. And this is how I kind of envision it. And on the dashboard on a desktop, it's beautiful, right? Over here, you've got a chatbot. And so you can actually build this chatbot one of two ways, right? You can keep it a really surface level AI. So it would connect with like a ChatGPT or a Claude, and it can ask questions, and it's going to have the information of the project itself based on the dashboard, and it can answer some simple questions. So you can kind of see here, like, okay, this is relatively simplistic. What did we agree to? Where are we at with our project timeline? Like, tell me about this flower, tell me about that flower. And you can go through and have a discussion on, kind of what we agreed to. Now, you could also go further and you could make this a fully functional chatbot, right? Like you could go through the work of actually training an AI chatbot, and you could make this fully functional. And fully functional means that, like, if it's flagging as a red flag and, thinks that, hey, do you want to talk to a person, right? And then it could connect you directly with somebody in the office, or it could give you a phone number to call, or it could be much more detailed. It could send you follow-up emails with the summary of what happened on the chat with that specific client at the end of the day. And so it can kind of go through a little bit more if you spend a lot of time with the chat function, if that's something that's really important to your business. But what we think about is building this timeline out. This is what I've been trying to get is most of our projects, if we're a project-based company, then we have some degree of a timeline. We have periods of time where things move really fast and a lot gets done. And then we have these big lulls in time where like nothing gets done. And that's where the customer can start to get frustrated. That's where they're reaching out. They're trying to figure out, where are we? What's happening next? Where are we at in the process? And we can build out this thing so that they can just go to your website / their name or their company name, and they have a real life, real dashboard that's fully functional all the time, right? And you can build it out to be whatever you want. So like everything, you can just like go through and we can talk about plant selections, we can talk about design plans, anything that we've uploaded to our project management software can populate in here once you have this all designed out. And so the cool part about this is what's possible depending on who you use as your project management software is we can API with that, or we can actually pull that data down directly from the software that your company already uses. And this is, again, most likely. And if it doesn't already, it probably will soon in the future, so that your team doesn't have to change anything they do. When they update something in your software and it moves the project forward, or they, do a change order or something adjusts in some capacity, as that happens in real time, the AI is going to notice that change, and it's going to pull that data down and it's going to update your dashboard in real time. And so it's no extra work once you have this built out for your team. It just gives all the work that you're already doing in your project management software. It brings the client under the curtain or behind the curtain with that, and it allows them to see what's going on, and just in the client facing way that they need, the information that they need. And I think, I was thinking back to like the Tommy Boy. It's like, it's a warm blanket. It makes you feel good, right? Like this is just something for me. If I was going through projects, even just as like a normal landscaping company, right? Like not a big project landscaping company, but just like, when are you guys coming to mow this week? Like what are we doing? When's our next, when do we go through the fertilizer? And like, when's the next time that's going to happen? And what have we already done? What did that fertilizer do? Hey, we're getting a lot of like weeds. What should we do for that? Like, what's your plan? Are you on top of it? Just this regular kind of everyday stuff that all of our companies are doing anyway. If I, as a customer, have a little bit more information, number one, I feel like I'm connected more to what you're doing, the work that you're putting in, the work that your company is spending time doing. That makes me more sticky as a customer, so it's going to help retention. But more than anything, think about how much this makes you stand out from a professional perspective as a local small business. And this is what I'm trying to help people with. And this is the amazing part of AI is like, if you were a nationally known landscaping company across 70 cities and you were doing $250 million a year, you could probably afford in the past to hire software engineers to build this out for you, to have this in place. And your moat or your competitive advantage would be showing up with a customer with an iPad and bringing them this beautiful dashboard, this incredible proposal done by a graphic designer, and you would have a team to do these things for you. And that helps you stand out against the small local guys. And then the small local guys are doing better just because they're giving better service. They're usually faster. They're maybe a little less expensive because they don't necessarily have that same overhead. But now with the advent of AI, the things that we can do is we can provide national service level, like top tier experience for our clients as a small business that's not employing a bunch of back end staff, doesn't have to keep a software engineer on staff all the time. And you can start to bring these ideas that you have to life, these things that you've seen that you've always thought like, that's just above us. That's just beyond us. We maybe can't afford that. That seems like something that's outside of my skill set. And we get to this point where we don't do the thing that is best for customer service and is best for our employees and is best for our staff. We don't do it because we just couldn't afford it in the past. And those days are gone. All right. So we build out this dashboard. We think about building live project stuff. And really this is just your own imagination, right? What I would encourage you to do is to talk to your best customers and the people who you have great relationships with, who you felt like you did a phenomenal job on their project and they've reached out and thank you. Pull them aside and just talk to them. And as you build this dashboard out, be like, would you like that? Would that be helpful? Would this be something? As we're kind of going through this in real time, I was also just thinking, if you wanted some free social media organic content, you could like take progress photos and clip them into Instagram or TikTok or Facebook size photos with like your watermark of your company on there and give it to them to download so they can upload the story to their Instagram and like, kind of show off the project to their friends or to their, if it's a company, right? Show the progress of what they're doing to reinvest in their business to grow it. And that's just free organic social media content, right? So there's no limit to what you can build with this. It really is just your imagination and working with your local AI agents to start to build this stuff. And I like this concept, right? Because again, I'm trying to take things off of employees' plates. I'm thinking so much right now about how we take the incredible employees that we have and make their lives better and easier. So they're not spending time in their day dealing with putting out fires and headaches from clients. How do we get ahead of that? That's the question we've got to start asking ourselves, is less of a, let's put out this fire, and more of a, hey, this fire keeps coming up. Almost every project, we have these clients reaching out to me or reaching out to us, sending us personal text messages on our phones, reaching out on weekends, reaching out past work hours. And that hurts employees' happiness, lifestyle, retention, longevity. It hurts those things when clients do that to you. And there's no greater experience than this than working inside of a gym network. The amount of text messages that I've gotten, before 6 a.m. and after 7 or 8 p.m. on weekends all the time asking me, questions that probably were answered in an email that I sent out, or probably were available somewhere on a website, or probably are available through our app in some capacity. It's staggering. And you're never going to my point with that is you're never going to all the way get beyond this, right? You do have to set limits and barriers. But if we have somewhere that they know that they can go and we direct them and set that expectation early. So we tell the client, hey, we built out this incredible client dashboard. You're going to have full access to all the information, everything to do with your project. It lives on that dashboard. And if you have any questions, you should go there first because everything is going to be answered there. On there is also our local chatbot, and so you can ask any questions there, and if something then is not answered, we'll get notified, and we'll make sure that we get back to you within 24 hours. And you set that expectation, like that's the best way to get in contact with us. And my hope is that that would be an extreme reduction in the amount of personal communication, text messages, and emails that go directly to your staff. So I think this helps a lot with why your team would love it. And so this is the expectation, right? 8 to 10 hours per week. And this, like, the big thing is it causes a lot of change, right? So like if I'm working on a project, and you guys have probably been here before, if you're working on a project and you pick up the phone and you start talking with a client for 15 minutes and then you hang up the phone and then you try to get back into your workflow, it takes you a little bit to get going again. And so if this is happening across your organization, this is probably days of lost productivity towards things that actually drive revenue. So this is what I kind of think about as we're building this out. We want to start getting ahead of this. I think in 2 to 3 years, this is going to be table stakes. This is going to be what everybody does. This is like the lowest common denominator in service businesses, is you are going to have all of these things that is just like everybody does this. There isn't anyone who does it. Like there was a time when, if you go all the way back, that, companies wouldn't have websites, right? And then there was a time where companies wouldn't have email. And then there was a time where companies wouldn't be able to text message with people or have a CRM or have, some capacity for like automated text messages or automated email marketing. Like all these things, there was a time where there was a huge swath of industries that would just say, I'm not doing that, right? I don't want to do that. I'm not going to spend the time. And now it's just like everybody does it, right? Because it's, best practice. And I think a lot of these things are going to be the exact same way, right? I think a lot of the AI stuff is going to allow these companies to move faster and get ahead. And the companies who jump on this early are going to start to, number one, integrate this into the way that they do things early, because this is going to be a change for your company, right? And the sooner that we get that done, the more you're like, oh yeah, we've done that for years, right? And like I see this with friendship all the time. Like when we were building out and having an app, and the app would update, and there were a lot of people that were still writing workouts up on whiteboards every day, and they weren't sending out the workouts to their clients and all this stuff. And it just got to the point where you're like, no, like we have everything fully updated on slides. Slides get sent out, workouts get sent out, everything lives natively in the app, and you can see all this. And there was a time where when we would have people looking to transfer gyms, that was like a selling point. People would be like, oh my gosh, like that's amazing. That's incredible. That's great communication. Over time, that became like not even impressive to people. That was just the way it was. If you didn't have that, it would be shocking to a potential gym transfer that you didn't have that in place. And I think that's the way that this is going to be. So as we start kind of doing this, what we're going to do is you guys already have your existing CRM. You already have your software. You already have your project management stuff in place, right? What we build then is effectively a bridge. So we built your AI agent is going to read all the data. It's going to be able to connect to those tools, and then it's going to pull that data down and put it live on the dashboard, update your website in real time for you. And this is one of those things, like, I know it sounds like it's somewhat techy and complicated, but once we have the AI agent already trained on your small business, it's going to be able to, number one, just create the dashboard for you, which is amazing, right? Like that's incredible. Number two, it's going to walk you through step by step exactly how to connect all of these things. And then once it is connected, it's going to start to populate and pull the APIs for you automatically. And then you just iterate, right? You're talking with your staff, you're talking with your clients, you're talking with the people who you trust to build it out to be perfect. What would you like to see more of? What would you like to see less of? You're talking to your employees. What are they still reaching out to you about? Why are they not going into the dashboard? What could we do to change that? And you just start iterating that process. So again, I'm trying to get you guys ahead of this. Like these things are coming, right? And it's important to understand and acknowledge that the speed of a lot of this is not going to wait for you, right? Like it's going to start going these directions, and people will be building these out. And the bigger the company, the more they're like hiring AI techs specifically for their companies to start building any idea they have. And so now I've gotten in, and I've gotten to see behind the curtain with a lot of these small businesses, and I see the ideas you're pushing out to your teams. I see these emails like, this is what we want to build. This is where I want to go. This is what I see for the future. And you're pushing it out to your team. And then your team's kind of like, okay, cool. Like that, I mean, that's going to take a while to build. We have to make some decisions. Who's going to make those decisions? That's going to be challenging. And there's kind of this like lag effect. Like we need to cut that out. It's like you need to be working and asking those questions and telling those things directly to the agent. This is what I want to build. And the agent system knows everything about your business. And it's like, cool. These are the exact steps for you to do that. And that's what I do every day. Like that's where if I'm in there working natively, if somebody sends me a problem they're trying to solve, I'm throwing it in and I say, this is what we need to build and create. How do we do it? What are our steps? And it'll tell me. And sometimes I'm like, holy crap, like that seems really complicated from a tech perspective. And they're like, nope, your first steps are this, your second steps are this. I'll walk you through step by step. This is exactly how we're going to do it. And then you're done. It's really cool. So I hope you guys are getting interested in this. If you guys, have any questions on it, please reach out. Happy to show you guys more. If you guys really want me to like think about or build a dashboard for your business that like would be a mock-up so you guys could see what it would look like, reach out. I'd be happy to do that for you guys. And we'll talk soon.